Let me paint you a picture. You come home, you say hello, she says hello. You ask what's for dinner, and she said, I don't know. You sit on opposite end of the sofa, different devices, different silences. You go to bed, no real conversation, no real connection. In fact, no real anything. You might as well be two people sharing a lease. And somewhere deep in your gut, maybe at 2 o'clock in the morning, when you can't sleep, a thought surfaces. That terrifies you. We've become roommates. And the worst part, you can't even pinpoint when it happened. If that sounds familiar, good, because you're exactly in the right place. Today, I'm going to act as your translator as we continue our Menopause Manual for Husband series. Today, we are exploring episode 3. If you remember, in the first episode, we discussed the 3 biggest misunderstandings husbands have about menopause. In episode 2, last week, we looked at the silent trap that occurred during menopause and how to understand and handle it masterfully. Today, this episode is going to explore the roommate phase of menopause in relationships. Today, I'm handing you the one tool, the secret weapon that breaks that phase, not next month, this week, starting with one small move that takes only 30 seconds. Hi, I'm Tina, deep into perimenopause and the author of the book, The Expert Guide to Menopause and Marriage. Welcome to this channel, and my goal here is quite simple. I translate what is happening in your wife's brain, her body, her emotion, so that you don't have to guess and start really giving her the support that she needs from you. Hit the subscribe button if you're new. I'm here every week for husbands who want to understand, not just endure. Before I hand you the weapon, let's make sure we are diagnosing the right thing, because the roommate phase has symptoms that are very easy to misread. Here is what it looks like on the surface. You talk, obviously, but only about logistic, kids, bills, or the boiler that needs fixing. The reality is this: you're physically in the same space, but emotionally miles apart. Intimacy, emotional and physical, has quietly packed its bag, and you started to wonder, does she even like me anymore? Now, here's what most husbands do at this point. They try to fix it. You go for big romantic gestures, such as a surprise weekend away, flowers, or maybe a heartfelt card with actual feeling written on it. There's nothing wrong with that. However, she looks at you like you just handed her a trombone. What is this? What am I supposed to do with this? Not because she doesn't love you, but because something is happening internally, making big gesture land completely wrong. And understanding exactly why that happens, that is your first breakthrough today. I want to tell you about a couple I will call Mark and Sarah, not their real names. They've been married for 22 years. 3 kids, built a whole life together, and then Sarah hit perimenopause at 47. Within 18 months, Mark sat across from me and said, it's like she went in a long holiday and left a stranger in her place. He tried everything, late nights, long conversations about us. Even read a book, which, if you're watching this video, you're already one step ahead of where Mark started. But nothing landed. Every attempt to close the gap made Sarah retreat further. And the more he tried, the more it felt like he was reaching for someone through a frosted glass. Here came the question, his question. Is just what we are going to be now? Let that sink in. If that question has ever crossed your mind, I need you to hear this. It doesn't mean that you're a bad husband. It means that you're a human being. You are a human being who is scared of losing something he loves, someone he loves. But here's what Mark didn't know, and most husbands don't know this either. The roommate phase is not a relationship problem. It is a biological signal. Once you understand that signal, you can respond to it accordingly. Alright, let me now put my translator hat on. Stay with me because this bit is genuinely fascinating. And it might change the way that you see everything, because during perimenopause and menopause, estrogen levels don't just drop, they fluctuate widely. They're really wide before they eventually settle lower. And as you may know, estrogen is not just a reproductive hormone. It's deeply tied to emotional regulation, stress tolerance, and crucially, to the brain's threat detection system. For instance, the amygdala, that are called the fire alarm system in the brain, becomes significantly more reactive when estrogen drops. In fact, research evidenced this very clearly. It confirms that when estrogen is low, it's directly linked to heightened amygdala reactivity. In plain English, what does it mean? Simply that your other half brain is running a slightly overloaded alarm system right now. Today, think of it like an overheated computer. When a computer overheats, what happens? It slows down, isn't it? It gets glitchy at times. Things that used to run smoothly start to freeze. That's not the computer being difficult. That's the computer protecting itself. So when your wife goes quiet, withdraws, or seems emotionally unavailable, she's not withdrawing from you specifically. Her nervous system is conserving energy and minimizing perceived threats. Here is the logic bridge I want you to walk through with me. If her brain is running in threat detection mode, tell me, what is the worst thing that it can do? I'm sure you have guessed it. 1. Force a big emotional conversation. 2. Plan a weekend that requires her performing being okay. 3. A grand gesture that put the pressure on her to respond in kind. Because to an overloaded nervous system, even love can feel like a demand. What her nervous system actually needs right now is something called neuroceptive safety. All it is a feral sense deep in her body that she's safe. This happens below the conscious awareness. When your wife can feel and say, I am safe enough right now. Not impressed, not stimulated, but safe. And that is exactly where your secret weapon resides. I'm going to give you the 3-part secret weapon in just a moment. But first, I need to show you the 3 things most husbands do during the roommate phase that accidentally make things worse. Because even the most well-intended move can backfire when you don't know what you're working with. Mistake number 1 is a big gesture trap. Big gestures require a response, right? They put emotional labor onto the person you're trying to help. If your wife, for example, is already depleted, which is likely the case, a surprise dinner doesn't feel romantic. It feels like homework. I know, counterintuitive, but the biology backs this up. Mistake number 2, the logical conversation. Can we just talk about us? Forward, just talk about us. Completely well-intended, I understand, and almost guaranteed to not land the way that you hope for. But why? Because talking about us in the roommate phase usually means pointing finger on what is wrong or trying to solve an emotional problem with logic. And the brain that is already overloaded, it is like asking an overheated computer to run another heavy program. It will not end well for either of you. Mistake number 3, withdrawal matching. This is the sneaky one. She pulls back, you pull back because you don't want to push. She interprets your space as disinterest, and you interpret her silence as confirmation that you are not wanted. The distance starts to feel normal. And I need you to remember this. Space is not the same as safety. That distinction, my dear husbands, is the entire foundation of what I'm about to give you now. Quick pause. If this video is landing for you, please hit the like button and subscribe. It genuinely helps this series reach more husbands who need it. and subscribe if you haven't done so yet, because next week I will be covering an interesting topic, the husband toolkit, with a particular emphasis on the toll it takes on you husbands to be the emotional punch bag during menopause. You wouldn't want to miss that one. A secret weapon to end the roommate phase is not a conversation, not a gesture, not a grand plan. It's what I call the micro-moment connection blueprint. Micro-moments are small, deliberate, non-demanding act of presence that signal safety without requiring anything back. Actually, research backed this up. Dr. Barbara Fredrickson from the University of North Carolina, in her famous book Love 2.0, and her work on positivity resonance, shows that connectivity is built in micro moments of genuine low-stake warmth. And here is the beautiful part. Micro moment bypass threat response. They don't ask anything. They don't require your wife to show up emotionally. They just land. They are like leaving a porch light on. You are not demanding she walk through the door. You are not standing in the doorway calling her name either. You are just making sure that she sees the house. And over time, that consistency builds up, and those micro moments rebuild the neural pathway between my husband and safety. But not overnight though, but faster than you think. And here now are the 3 moves you can implement today. Move number 1 is the 30-second check-in. Once a day, not twice, not 5 times a day, once, only once. You say something like, hey, I just want you to know that I'm thinking about you. You don't need to say anything. And then you walk away. No fishing for a response. No waiting to see if she smiles. You plant the seed and you leave. This is what I call the lighthouse approach. A lighthouse doesn't chase ships. It doesn't dim itself when no one seems to be looking. It just stays lit, consistent, reliable, and present. And over time, she starts to know that the light is always there. And that knowing is what rebuilds safety. Move number 2 is the ICU move. Menopause, largely invisible. Your wife is carrying an enormous internal weight that nobody sees around her or can measure. And the most powerful thing you can say, most powerful than the solution, is that looks really hard. ICU, not you should try magnesium. Have you spoken to the doctor about that? Or what do you do now? No, just ICU. Those 3 words do something remarkable. They activate the brain's social bonding circuits. They reduce cortisol. They signal at the nervous system level that this person is safe. You are not her doctor. You're not her therapist. You are her person, her significant other. And being her person right now looks like witness, not rescue. Move number 3, the warmth signal. Is non-sexual, non-demanding physical touch. A hand on her shoulder as you walk past, making her a cup of tea without her demanding one. Sitting near her on the sofa just because you want to be close to her, not because you want to start anything, can actually work wonders. A research actually led by Big Dixon showed that simple supportive touch, even brief contact, can reduce stress in the body and activate biological systems linked to connection, including oxytocin. You are literally, yes, literally, biologically rebuilding intimacy with a cup of tea. He knew the secret weapon came in a mug. But here is the rule, and this is non-negotiable. No expectation of a response. It's very important. If she leans into you, wonderful. If she doesn't, that's okay. You are not doing this to get something back, but doing this to keep the light on. Micro moment blueprint. 3 move, 30 seconds each. That's it. Remember Mark? He started with 30-second check-in. Hey, just thinking about you, no need to reply. He started saying, I see you when Sarah looked exhausted. He started sitting near her, no agenda, no conversation, just being present. For 3 weeks, nothing dramatic happened. He called me one day and he said, I feel like I'm wasting my time. I'm talking to someone who isn't listening. My response? The nervous system listens even when the person can't respond yet. Week 4, they are watching telly. Something happened in week 4. They are watching telly, nothing special, and Sarah put her head on his shoulder. Beautiful, just beautiful. She didn't say anything, neither did he, but Ma tested me in the morning with 2 words. She's back. But the reality is, she hadn't gone anywhere. She had just been waiting it to feel safe enough to come home. The porch light worked. The roommate phase isn't a verdict on your marriage. It is not evidence that she's checking out. It is not confirmation that you lost her. It is a biological signal. And now that you know the biological response, that's your secret weapon. Not fireworks, a porch light. Keep it on. If this helped today, please share it with one husband who needs it. You might not know how much they need it, but I do. Drop a comment below and tell me which of the 3 micro moment moves are you going to try first. I read every single comment, genuinely. The full Menopause Manual for Husband playlist is linked somewhere here.